Hello and a very good morning. You're watching the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here's a look at the latest headlines. Devendra Fadnavis to be sworn in as the Chief Minister of the first BJP-led government in Maharashtra in a grand ceremony at the Wankhede Stadium. Shiv Sena to boycott, citing constant humiliation. Tamil Nadu government condemns death sentence awarded to 5 Indian fishermen in Sri Lanka, asks Prime Minister to intervene. New Delhi to appeal in Sri Lanka's apex court. Cyclone Nilüfer that's now weakened substantially to make landfall later today or early tomorrow. Gujarat government says it's leaving nothing to chance. Burkina Faso military announces emergency and a transitional government after demonstrators set fire to the country's parliament and government buildings. And India's Pankaj Advani wins a record 12th World Billiards title, beating England's rising star Robert Hall in the finals. Well, on the 139th birth anniversary of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel today, named Rashtriya Ekta Divas, Prime Minister Narendra Modi flagged off the Run for Unity just a few minutes back. Earlier today, Modi offered floral tributes to Sardar Patel at Patel Chowk in the capital. He later addressed participants of the Run for Unity and administered the Unity Pledge. Union cabinet ministers, senior BJP leaders and others were present at the ceremony. At 4 p.m. today, there will be a march past by the police, Central Armed Police Forces and other organizations.
साढ़े 500 से भी अधिक रियासतों को एक सूत्र में बांध दिया। जिसे सम्मान देने की जरूरत थी उसको सम्मान दिया, जिसको पुचकारने की जरूरत थी उसको पुचकारा, और जिसको आंख दिखाने की जरूरत थी उसको आंख दिखाने में भी सरदार पटेल कभी हिचक नहीं थी, संकोच नहीं किया था। उस सामर्थ्य का परिचय दिया था और उसी महापुरुष ने एक प्रकार से आज जब हिंदुस्तान देख रहे हैं, वो एक भारत का सप्रदृष्टा, उसके नियंता सरदार पटेल को देश कभी भूल नहीं सकता है। शताब्दियों पहले इतिहास में चाणक्य का उल्लेख इस बात के लिए आता है कि उन्होंने अनेक राजे रजवाड़ों को एक कर करके एक सपना लेकर के राष्ट्र के पुनरुद्धार का सपना देकर के सफल प्रयास किया था। चाणक्य के बाद उस महान काम को करने वाले एक महापुरुष थे जिनका आज हम जन्म जयंती पर्व मना रहे हैं, वो सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल थे। लेकिन ये कैसा दुर्भाग्य है, जिस व्यक्ति ने देश की एकता के लिए अपने आप को खपा दिया था, आलोचनाएं झेली थी, विरोध झेले थे, अपनी राजनीतिक यात्रा में रुकावटें महसूस की थी, लेकिन उस लक्ष्य की पूर्ति के मार्ग से कभी चलित नहीं हुए थे, और वो लक्ष्य था भारत की एकता। उसी देश में उसी महापुरुष की जन्म जयंती पर 30 साल पहले भारत की एकता को गहरी चोट पहुंचाने वाली एक भयंकर घटना ने आकार लिया। हमारे अपने लोगों को मौत के घाट उतार दिया गया, और वो घटना किसी संप्रदाय के लोगों के सीने पर गले लगे गांव की नहीं थी, वो घटना भारत की हजारों साल की महान विरासत के सीने पर लगा हुआ एक छुरा था, एक खंजर था, एक भयंकर आपत्तिजनक था। लेकिन दुर्भाग्य रहा इतिहास का कि उसी महापुरुष की जन्म जयंती के दिन यह हो गया, और तब जाकर के देश की एकता के लिए हम लोगों ने अधिक जागरूकता के साथ, अधिक जिम्मेवारी के साथ, सरदार साहब ने हमें एक भारत दिया, श्रेष्ठ भारत बनाना हमारी जिम्मेवारी है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi there addressing the nation on Rashtriya Ekta Divas. Let's now shift focus to our top story this morning. Devendra Fadnavis will take oath today as the 27th Chief Minister of Maharashtra and the first Bharatiya Janata Party's Chief Minister of the state at a grand function at the Wankhede Stadium. Elaborate preparations have been made at the Wankhede Stadium with top industrialists, celebrities from the film industry and other big names will attend the event. The BJP top brass, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, BJP President Amit Shah, RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat and several union ministers will be there too. A small cabinet of around 10 ministers, including state BJP core committee members Eknath Khadse, Sudhir Mungantiwar and Vinod Thavde, as well as Pankaja Munde, besides MLAs from scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, are also likely to be sworn in. Conspicuously absent today will be Uddhav Thackeray and other leaders of the Shiv Sena that have decided to boycott the event, saying it has been constantly humiliated by the BJP on the alliance question.
Mumbai's Wankhede Stadium is geared up for a victory lap of a different kind on Friday. The iconic green patch will host the swearing-in ceremony of the first BJP government of Maharashtra. 44-year-old Devendra Fadnavis will take oath as the new Chief Minister of the state, along with a small cabinet.
हमने पूरे महाराष्ट्र में कार्यकर्ताओं को बुलाया है, हमारे प्रमुख पदाधिकारी को बुलाया है। इसके साथ साथ देश भर में जहां-जहां हमारी सरकारें हैं या एनडीए की सरकारें हैं, उस सारे लीडर्स को बुलाया है, चीफ मिनिस्टर को बुलाया है।
Despite such open invitations, BJP's former ally is likely to stay away from the ceremony. It is still awaiting a call from BJP to join the government. Both Shiv Sena and NCP are eager to provide the cushion of numbers in the assembly after BJP fell short of a majority. BJP is yet to make up its mind, leaving Sena and NCP guessing.
हम वहाँ सरकार बना रहे हैं। अब हमें कौन समर्थन देता है, कौन हमारे समर्थन नहीं देता, वो निश्चित तौर से उन पर निर्भर है।
प्रिकॉशन तो लेनी चाहिए, इतने बड़े राज्यों को संभालना है, भ्रष्टाचार को ख़त्म करना है, हाँ, जनता को अच्छी ज़िंदगी, अच्छे दिन आपको लाना है। तो हमने कहा है कि आप किसके समर्थन पे सरकार बनाने जा रहे हैं, उसके ऊपर जनता ध्यान दे रही है।
On Thursday, Shiv Sena praised Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chief Minister designate Devendra Fadnavis in its mouthpiece Samna, a move seen as an attempt to buy its place in the government. NCP too had offered support and said it is keen to abstain when BJP faces floor test in the assembly. That's an outside support of 41 MLAs, enough for BJP to pass the crucial test. Whether the party is eager to partner someone in the government is a matter still unresolved. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Joining me for a chat this morning is the Assistant Editor of the Asian Age, Venkatesh Kesri. Good morning, Venkatesh, and thank you for joining me on the program. Let's talk about what's going to happen in Maharashtra today. A new Chief Minister is going to be sworn in, the first Chief Minister of the BJP for the state. But thus far, there has been no real alliance formation as far as, the government is concerned. Of course, the government has 15 days from today to form the government and to show the numbers on the floor of the House. What do you think is going to happen next?
There will be no threat to Fadnavis government for the simple reason no party wants to go for the elections. Number two, three parties are divided. Congress, NCP and Shiv Sena. They cannot come together even on the floor for the simple reason because they fought against each other. And now it is management. Now the BJP has to decide who should be their friend. Because NCP has offered unconditional support, outside support. Shiv Sena is willing to join the government. Shiv Sena was the ideological ally of the BJP. Now, but BJP wants to spread. That's why BJP is not giving strength to the Shiv Sena. BJP has to take a call. If even if they get the support from all independents and smaller parties, they need at least 10 to 15 more MLAs.
Yes.
Either they will have to split the party or they will have to manage numbers from NCP or Shiv Sena. But for the next 6 months, there will be no threat to Fadnavis government.
Okay, there will be no threat and the ball is really in the BJP's court is what you're saying. But, the Shiv Sena has decided to boycott this particular event, the swearing-in ceremony of Fadnavis and his small cabinet of ministers. Is there a message that the Shiv Sena is trying to send the BJP?
Shiv Sena is, I suppose, Shiv Sena is divided whether to play a junior role with the BJP in Maharashtra, in the government and in the state, or to play the role of opposition. Now, Mr. Uddhav Thackeray has to take a call, because if Shiv Sena joins the government, it will be a junior partner. No prime portfolios will be given to Shiv Sena. There are reports that Shiv Sena wants
Deputy
Chief Minister,
Home
Speaker and
yes.
other. But BJP is not willing to give any major portfolio. Now Mr. Thackeray, Uddhav Thackeray, who led the Shiv Sena's campaign in the assembly polls and got 63, now he has to take a call whether to sit in the opposition. But if he sits in the opposition, then he will have to take on three major parties, BJP, NCP and Congress party. So can he fight simultaneously with the three parties? Because there are elections ahead, Bombay Municipal Corporation and other civic bodies. So these are the things which Shiv Sena has to take into consideration. Yeah.
All right. Now, as far as the cabinet is concerned, it's going to be a very small cabinet that's going to be sworn in. You know, many names have been left out as far as some of the big names are concerned. But this is the style of functioning as far as Narendra Modi is concerned, isn't it? I mean, a small cabinet of ministers, and he'll ensure that all of them do their work properly.
Apparently, BJP doesn't have people who had experience of working in the government, except Eknath Khadse. And at the center, Nitin Gadkari. The BJP's team is completely new. They are active in legislature, they are active in politics, they are active in social life. But running a government, that too a minority government, will be a difficult task. But I think Fadnavis can do, because Narendra Modi is at the center, who will guide him. Narendra Modi in Delhi and RSS in Nagpur, they will both, their guidance will certainly help Mr. Fadnavis.
All right. There was much talk, a lot of talk about, Nitin Gadkari going to be the next Chief Minister of Maharashtra. Nitin Gadkari should take on the role of, a state leader, but that has not happened. How much of an influence, though, is Nitin Gadkari going to have on his home state of Maharashtra?
Now it's a different game, because Modi's choice is Mr. Fadnavis. Now Modi will ensure that there will be no problem in Maharashtra. He will take care of the interests of the Maharashtra development, and he will nourish Mr. Fadnavis without Mr. Gadkari. So naturally, it's a total different political game going on in the BJP. So irrespective of Mr. Gadkari will be there or not, it's now the central BJP leadership will have to take care of the state government.
Okay.
So experience and administrative skill doesn't matter. Moreover, you have seen in Gujarat, Anandibin Patel is Modi's choice. In Haryana, Khattar is Modi's choice.
Yes.
And this Mr. Fadnavis also is Modi's choice.
All right. And as far as Mr. Fadnavis is concerned, it's been a well thought out decision, isn't it? Because he was the champion of the Divide Maharashtra cause. He was the champion of the Vidarbha cause.
Absolutely.
In spite of that, they have made him the chief minister. So is the BJP also trying to send out a message now that we have chosen a person from Vidarbha? So it's going to be, a combined Maharashtra that we're going to see. And there's going to be a lot of importance given to Vidarbha because the chief minister is from there.
Now they have given, he will be the fourth chief minister from Vidarbha. First was MS Kannambar, second was Vasantrao Naik, third was Sudhakar Rao Naik, and he will be fourth one. He is the youngest chief minister after Sharad Pawar. Sharad Pawar became chief minister at the age of, I think, 38. But his pro-Vidarbha line will certainly create doubts in the minds of other parts of the region. Say, for example, in Marathwada, Western Maharashtra, Konkan and Mumbai and North Maharashtra. Mr. Fadnavis will have to ensure that he is working for the entire state.
Okay.
That will be major, because his every decision will be scrutinized, will be studied whether it favors Vidarbha or rest of the Maharashtra.
Indeed. All right. We'll have to leave it at that. Thank you so much, Venkatesh Kesi, for joining us on the program this morning and sharing your thoughts on that very subject. Let's move on now and go on to the efforts towards forming a government in Delhi. The Supreme Court says that it is happy with the Lieutenant Governor's moves on the matter. He has 11 more days to put together a stable government for the capital. The Apex Court said that even minority governments can function properly, so the option must be explored in Delhi. Here's more.
The Lieutenant Governor of Delhi got a pat on his back from the Supreme Court on Thursday. The court lauded Najib Jung's efforts towards forming a stable government in Delhi. He has been given a further 12 days to form the government.
व्यूज एक्सप्रेस किए कोर्ट ने कि माइनॉरिटी गवर्नमेंट्स भी रही हैं। स्वयं आम आदमी पार्टी का एक क्लेम था कि उन्होंने माइनॉरिटी गवर्नमेंट बनाई है। तो अब देखते हैं आगे क्या होता है 11 नवंबर को।
The Lieutenant Governor has time till the 11th of November, but the single largest party in the Assembly, the BJP, is staying tight-lipped about the matter.
सारे मत आपके, हम अपना जो भी मत होगा निश्चित रूप से समय आने पर अपने मत का खुलासा आपके सामने करेंगे।
Surprisingly, the opposition parties, the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress, are standing shoulder to shoulder on the issue.
विधानसभा भंग करने के अलावा कोई दूसरा रास्ता बचता नहीं है, क्योंकि अगर आप बीजेपी की बात करें, बीजेपी के पास संख्या नहीं है। आम आदमी पार्टी की बात करें, उसके पास संख्या नहीं है। कांग्रेस किसी को समर्थन देने की बात कह नहीं रही है। तो ऐसी स्थिति में सरकार कैसे बनेगी दिल्ली में?
आज सारे देश को मालूम है, खाली दिल्ली के लोगों को नहीं मालूम, सारे देश को पता है कि किसी के पास बहुमत नहीं है और ना ही कोई किसी को सपोर्ट कर रहा है, सिवाय एक आदमी के, वो हैं ऑनरेबल लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर साहब, जिनको पता होना चाहिए सबसे ज़्यादा। तो ये बड़ा दुर्भाग्यवंश है।
The Delhi Assembly currently has 28 BJP MLAs, 27 of the Aam Aadmi Party and 8 of the Congress. The BJP is preferring not to say anything till the by-polls for 3 seats are conducted on the 25th of November. With inputs from Ravindra Shoran and Anu Diwan, Bureau Report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, we'll slip into a short break now, but still to come on the show, Modi government sends Babus on an austerity drive, no more business class flights and no more meetings in 5-star hotels. That and much more on the other side. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha Television. Well, the AIADMK in Tamil Nadu has condemned the death penalty awarded to 5 Tamil Nadu fishermen by a Sri Lankan court, saying the ruling has incensed all sections of society. It has asked the Prime Minister to intervene in the matter. Chief Minister Pannir Selvam described the verdict as unjust and raised apprehension whether the fishermen received a fair trial. He said the state government had insisted these fishermen were innocent and the case had been foisted on them, and also that the evidence against them in the court is a fabrication. The Ministry of External Affairs says that it is ready to appeal this lower court judgment. The Indian High Commission will provide legal assistance to these fishermen to move a higher court, but they have to do it before November 15th.
A lower court in Sri Lanka sentenced 5 Indian fishermen to death on Thursday. They were arrested by the Lankan Navy 3 years ago for trying to smuggle drugs. All the fishermen are residents of Rameshwaram area in Tamil Nadu. India was quick to express its disappointment on the verdict. It will move a higher court now to appeal against the judgment.
We intend through our High Commission to appeal against this judgment at a higher court. Simultaneously, we have been pursuing with the Sri Lankan government our view that we feel that these fishermen are not guilty because we have done our due diligence on our side.
The arrest of Indian fishermen who stray into Lankan waters has long been an issue in Tamil Nadu. Political parties in the state also reacted strongly to the Lankan court's verdict. Some even pointed out how this may have an effect on bilateral relations.
It is a known fact that government of Sri Lanka is pursuing a very hostile policy to the Indian fishermen, towards Indian fishermen.
I don't know why the government of India was so lethargic or so careless in not taking proper action. Even now it is not too late, I think. The government of India, there are appeal provisions.
So it is the paramount duty of the Union government of India, NDA government of Mr. Narendra Modi, to take effective diplomatic steps to protect these people, to save them from the gallows and to get them released from the prison.
In May this year, Sri Lankan President Mahinda Rajapakse assured Prime Minister Narendra Modi to resolve the issue on a priority basis. Hundreds of fishermen were released from Lankan jails within days in a sign that both the nations were eager to put an end to it. However, it remains to be seen if this judgment has a political impact in Tamil Nadu in the coming days. With inputs from Akhilesh Suman, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The Met Department has withdrawn the cyclone alert for Gujarat's coastal districts, limiting it only to ports and fishermen. The development came as Nilüfer, which was earlier dubbed as a very severe cyclonic storm, further weakened. It is now expected to cross the Gujarat coast near Nalias, a depression with a wind speed of 40 to 50 kilometers per hour. However, there's been no let-up on the precautions ahead of the cyclone. Thousands of people have been moved out of the coastal areas and Gujarat continues to be on high alert. The National Disaster Response Force has deployed 14 rescue and relief teams with boats and other flood rescue equipment to mitigate the situation.
हमारा कोस्ट नॉर्थ गुजरात कोस्ट का पास आते आते वो वीक होके डिप्रेशन हो जाएगी। डिप्रेशन की वजह से हमारा कोस्टल सौराष्ट्र कच्छ को बहुत सारे काफी जगहों में बारिश मिलेगी। संकट टल गया है। अभी सिर्फ मछुआरों के लिए सी का अंदर जाना मना है।
Well, let's now take a look at some other news and updates from around the country in our segment Nationwide.
Probing the issue of black money stashed abroad, has said it will not spare any offender, whether big or small. After a meeting of the SIT members, Justice Shah said the panel was gathering more names for investigation and will submit its second report by the first week of December. The SIT had assured confidentiality in investigations, but the government's decision to reveal the names in the Supreme Court has not gone down too well with the Swiss government and could threaten further cooperation. Unveiling a drive aimed at trimming the fiscal deficit, the government has put in place a new set of austerity measures for bureaucrats. Ministers will no longer be able to hold meetings in five-star hotels or travel first class either in India or overseas. The guidelines also puts a ban on fresh appointments and filling of government posts that have been vacant for over a year. The measures are aimed at cutting non-planned spending by 10% and restricting the fiscal deficit to a 7-year low of 4.1% of GDP in 2014-15. The centre on Thursday announced monetary compensation for over 3,000 victims of the 1984 Sikh riots. The NDA government has decided to give Rs 5 lakh each to the next of kin of those killed in the riots. The fresh compensation, which will cost the exchequer Rs 166 crore, will be disbursed in the next few weeks. Members of the Sikh community have welcomed the move but sought more steps for rehabilitation of the victims' families. The BJP and the CPIM will meet West Bengal Governor K.N. Tripathi today to express their resentment over the state administration's refusal to allow them to visit violence-hit Makra village in Birbhum district. Workers of the ruling TMC and BJP were embroiled in a bitter standoff in West Bengal's Birbhum district on Thursday. Key BJP leaders were arrested for defying prohibitory orders. 3 people were killed in the clashes on Monday. The party has accused the TMC government of trying to gag the opposition with brute force.
Let's now get you a roundup of what's been making news across the globe in our World Wrap. Burkina Faso's President Blaise Compaoré has declared a state of emergency and refused to step down, saying that he will stay in power under a transitional government until it completes its term. The move came after thousands of protesters demanding his resignation marched on the presidential palace after burning the parliament building and ransacking state television offices. Blaise Compaoré has been in power for 27 years. Pakistan Awami Tehreek chief Tahirul Qadri has left Pakistan on a stated foreign trip, leading to speculation that he has struck a deal with Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. Qadri, however, said that the aim of his visit to different countries is to organize his party and generate funds for it. Qadri will first go to Dubai and later to London. Russia has agreed to resume the supply of gas to Ukraine throughout the winter after signing a treaty brokered by European Union. The $4.6 billion deal will extend through March. EU said it will help cash-strapped Ukraine with the payments through aid and guarantees, adding that the agreement might be the first glimmer of hope in easing tensions between the two countries. The bodies of 220 members of an Iraqi Sunni tribe apparently killed by Islamic State militants have been found in 2 mass graves in western Iraq. Some 150 men from the Albu Nimir tribe were taken from their villages on Wednesday and killed, while 70 people from the same tribe were found dead in another mass grave. Islamist Boko Haram militants have seized control of northeast Nigerian town of Mubi, killing dozens of people and forcing thousands to flee. The militants hoisted their black flag over the palace of the traditional ruler after robbing banks, burning down the main market and sacking the palace. Despite the ceasefire announced by the government, the violence continues to rise in Nigeria. Let's now take a look at what's lined up for today in our special segment, The Day Ahead. Well, on the occasion of Rashtriya Ekta Divas, Home Minister Rajnath Singh will attend the passing out parade of IPS officers at the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel National Police Academy in Hyderabad today. Rajnath Singh is also attending the Run for Unity event in Delhi. President Pranab Mukherjee, Vice President Hamid Ansari and other party leaders paid tributes this morning at Shakti Sthal on the 30th death anniversary of former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. Several other programs are to be held in memory of Indira Gandhi. Nokia's largest plant in India at Sriperumbudur in Tamil Nadu is to shut today. More than 8,000 workers will be rendered jobless. A meeting was held yesterday between the members of Nokia's management, the Workers' Union and Tamil Nadu's Labour Department, with both sides reaching an agreement. The government has put a freeze on Nokia's assets due to tax dispute over an estimated 23,000 crore rupees. The second chapter of the SAARC Education Ministers meeting will be held today. The meeting will take stock of the progress made by member countries on the regional groupings development goals on education and discuss the strategy for education beyond 2015. The meeting will also deliberate on the strengthening of capacity within the region for improving quality of education. The world-famous Pushkar Fair will start from today in Pushkar in Ajmer district of Rajasthan. The fair attracts lakhs of people, including foreign tourists. The tourism department has lined up a number of events for the week-long extravaganza, which will end on November 6th. Camel and cattle trading is at its peak during the first half of the festival period. Here's a look now at the global stock markets. US stocks rose on Thursday, boosted by a strong reading on quarterly economic growth and by another round of upbeat earnings reports from service industry. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 221.11 points or 1.3% to close the trading at 17,195. Standard & Poor's 500 gained 12.35 points or 0.62% to end the day at 1,994. The Nasdaq Composite added 16.91 points or 0.37% to finish at 4,566. Gold prices fell sharply to a 3-week low to 0.38% or 375 to 26,580 per 10 grams on Thursday, following heavy profit-taking from stockists and speculators by a sharp overseas fall. Silver dropped by 0.49% or 590 to 38,335 per kilogram as speculators reduced positions on weak cues from global markets. Here's a look now at what's been creating a buzz in the world of sports. Here's the latest sports beat. Ace Indian QS Pankaj Advani claimed another world title by convincingly beating Robert Hall of the United Kingdom in the World Billiards Championship Finals in the timed format. Bangalore's golden boy Advani beat Hall of England with a score of 1,928 to 893 in what looked like a one-sided final. Hall, who had got past Advani's citymate Balchandra Bhaskar in the semi-finals, could not stand up to the Indian ace, and the Englishman's maiden final appearance ended on a disappointing note. Last week, Pankaj claimed the world title in the points format by beating Peter Gilchrist, the current world number one, in the finals. Advani's previous grand doubles were in Malta in 2005 and in his hometown in 2008. And finally, the Vatican unveiled a new high-tech energy-saving lighting and air purification system to protect Michelangelo's delicate Sistine Chapel frescoes from damage caused by ever-growing crowds of tourists. I'm going to leave you with these visuals. Have a nice day.